Hello everybody, welcome to Snyder's Inc. And today we got another tough video, and this is hackers who ruin people's lives. We gonna get right into this. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, think down below. Let's go.
In a world where our lives are consumed by technology, it's shocking how it could take someone who specializes in hacking to ruin your entire life. From leaking private photos, stealing entire bank accounts, blackmailing, all while staying anonymous, today we'll be talking about hackers that ruin people's lives. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. By the time this video comes out, I'm sure that my EP will have already been out. I usually make my announcements at the end of the video, but this is going to be a really short one. But basically, in case you guys haven't seen on my second channel, I'm not making Hyperpop anymore. And I know some of you guys, most of you guys, are celebrating about that. But I've been working so hard behind the scenes on my new sound, so if you want to go catch some of that, catch me on Kick. Yep, the best streaming platform of all time. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it is. But yeah, I've been streaming on Kick.
Oh my god, he literally just, like in every video I've done it, last two videos, he just promotes Kick up the ass. Oh man, don't you promote Kick on this YouTube channel? Don't you promote Kick on this damn channel? On this your channel or my channel?
And it's the first link in the description if you guys want to check it out. And we also have a new collection at Earl, earldoesn'texist.com. We have the Munchies collection. So if you guys want to go support Earl, you can buy something from there. And that's really it for the intro. Let's get on with the video. Megan Eugenio, aka Overtime Megan. Maybe some of you already know about this next topic because it has to do with social media influencers, but as we dive into this one, ask yourself this. What would you do if your nudes got leaked all over the internet without your consent and without your knowledge? Would you leave the internet forever, or would you take advantage and ride the momentum? Well, this is the exact situation that Megan Eugenio, a popular TikTok influencer, found herself in. Eugenio, aka Overtime Megan, became the center of attention when a hacker exposed her entire gallery for the world to see. In there, she had photos and videos that anyone would consider private. The exact date that the hack happened isn't clear, but the news of the hack really spread out from April 28th onwards. TikToker Noah Glenn Carter seems to be the first source of the information in this now viral video, which has over 9.7 million views. Noah explained that Megan had
That's messed up. Like, why would you post the private photos of someone, photos and videos of someone you just don't have the right to post? Like, what do you expect to get? Do you have to just enjoy watching others suffer? I mean, that's a stupid question. Of course they do. They don't think twice on it. The person, like, they don't care at all.
had deleted her TikTok after the huge leak, and in an Instagram story, she said that she was done with social media. Apparently, someone had gotten access to her phone and stole everything that was in there. The hacker went ahead and shared the content soon after, and compromising photos of her started popping up online. For example, YouTuber Maury, in his analysis of the story, said he saw the pictures in an NSFW Discord server called Samaria. Shortly after the leak, Megan turned off her TikTok comments and deleted her account. This situation must have really hit her hard, and she probably thought her life was on the brink of destruction. Literally a scenario where hackers bury a career before it even starts. In fact, one user on YouTube commented that she was barely at the beginning of a legitimate career in journalism. More users seem to sympathize with her situation with comments like, the idea that she could lose her job over this, when she's a victim herself and it wasn't her fault, makes me really upset and sad, and I want
That is sad.
to sleep and wake up in a
Well, people don't blame the victims for a crime like this anymore. That's the part I always find so weird. Like, when something like this happens, everyone's like, well, the victim asked for it. Well, the victim deserves it. No, they fucking don't. No victim deserves this. No victim deserves to have their stuff shown around, their private stuff, photos, videos, whatever, shown around for everyone to see. No one deserves that. Not one person. No one deserves that. And so when it happens, like the fact is that that happened and the place she works was like, yeah, we might have to let you go over this. Like, that's fucked up. To think you could lose your job over something you had no control of. Like, something happened, like a crime happening to you, and you get fired from your job over it. Like, that is next level bullshit. We all need to stop blaming victims for what happened. Especially in this case. And I don't want to hear no comment. I don't want to hear a single comment saying that she deserved it. Because if you comment that, you were not gonna be able to comment on this damn channel no more. That's the end of the result. I will delete every comment you give. Because you a messed up human being who don't deserve to be on this channel.
A world where people don't blame the victims of horrific crimes like this anymore. This was truly a sad situation, especially for an online creator that was just blowing up. Megan had really worked her way up the popularity charts with about 2.5 million followers on TikTok and 498,000 followers on Instagram at the time. Megan went dark on social media for a few days and then came back on May 2nd with a video explaining the entire situation. In the video, she thanked everyone that supported her during the whole ordeal, including her team, her family, and her agency. She reminded everyone that she was a victim and it wasn't her fault. It was a crime against her, and she didn't see it as defining her self-worth. She also added that if anyone was participating in sharing and distributing the content, then they were participating in a crime that had real repercussions. She said, people aren't realizing that this is a real person you are messing with. I have friends, I have family, I have a job, I have real things going on. The video was also a declaration of her comeback. She stated she wasn't going to let anyone who did this steal her happiness and that she was going to continue to make content. Interestingly, in classic social media fashion, her follower numbers grew significantly after the hack, and currently her TikTok account now stands at 2.7 million followers. Her Instagram is at 630,000, while on Twitter she's at 146,000. Now, while she seems to be doing well, there's always going to be those trolls.
Good for her. Good for her. She kept going. She kept posting. She's pushing through, and she's now just focusing straight. She's gonna continue doing what she does. Good for her not letting this like completely ruin her.
That have notifications on for whenever she tweets and say stuff like this. I've seen her naked. Everyone has already. Facts like my nanny. What the f does facts like my nanny mean? Anyway.
Actually, I was about to say, that guy's the one that needs to be looked at. That person needs to be looked at. That just sounds weird. I don't know what you're doing in your free time, my man. You need to get mental help.
I'm glad Megan didn't just leave the internet and let this hacker ruin her life, and I'm glad that she's pushing through. Matt Honan. On August 4th, 2012, Matt Honan, who was then a writer for the popular tech website Gizmodo, had this tweet show up on his Twitter account. He had been hacked, and there was little he could do to salvage the situation. The hackers, Clan VV3 and Phobia, had gotten into his digital accounts and rained havoc. In a series of steps, they had deleted his Google account, gotten into his Apple ID account, and used it to wipe clean his iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. They then got into his Twitter account and started broadcasting racist and homophobic messages. What's even more bizarre is
Wow. So these people had it out for specifically him. These guys had it out for him. They posted his they hacked his iPad, iPhone, his MacBook. They took over his Twitter and posted homophobic and racial stuff. Like, these guys were personally out to get this man.
Is that this all happened in the matter of an hour. The hack, of course, left him devastated because he lost a lot. More than a year's worth of his daughter's pictures, 8 years of important emails, photos of loved ones who had passed on, and critical documents. According to him, losing photos of his little girl was the greatest tragedy in all of this. So, what exactly happened? Well, according to an article that Matt Mohan wrote for Wired.com, there were several steps involved. First, after doing some background research on him, the hackers figured out that Matt had a Gmail account whose recovery address was mhonan@me.com, and they took advantage that his Gmail didn't have two-factor authentication. So one of the hackers, Phobia, simply went to the Gmail account recovery page and put in Matt's Gmail address, and he could see the alternate email set up for account recovery. Seeing the me.com email, the hackers knew they could get in easily. Next, the hackers called Apple and pretended to be Matt trying to recover his email account after forgetting the password. To do this, they needed Matt's billing address and the last 4 digits of his credit card. They went looking. They got the billing address by inputting Matt's personal website, www.honan.net, into the Whois domain search database. For the credit card digits, the process was a little more involving. First off, the hackers called Amazon pretending to be Matt wanting to add a new credit card to his account. To allow this, Amazon requested for the name on the account, an email address, and the billing address. Of course, the hacker had all of this and stated the new card information, and it was
interesting how, I don't know if there's not gonna be a show of their bad security thing when it comes to this, because if you just need a call and they don't actually they don't ask some verification from you, they don't ask some anything from you, like that's That's a little sus in my opinion. Like you can just call and do it.
added, and they hang up immediately.
And
Then
they
they
don't ask
called
to
back
verify
immediately
you.
and said they lost access to the account.
Bad.
The goal here was to be allowed to add a new email address to Matt's Amazon account. Amazon asked for a name, billing address, and the credit card number, the one that they just added. After providing this, they were allowed to add the new email address. From here, they simply reset the password, logged in, and accessed information on other credit cards attached to the account. So far, they had Matt's full name, his billing address, and the last 4 digits of his real credit card. At 4:33 p.m., the hackers then placed a call to Apple's tech support again, pretending to be Matt and unable to access their @me.com email. Apple asked for their billing address and the last 4 digits of their credit card, and voila, they were issued with a temporary password. By 4:50 p.m., they had reset the password to his email. Then at 4:52, they reset the Gmail account password, and at 5:02 p.m., they reset his Twitter password.
It's insane. These guys will determine to mess specifically with this guy. Like, they do all this effort for really no gain. Like, you were the guy, like, but you don't specifically yourself gain anything from this. So it's so bizarre that people do this. Because, like, what do you gain yourself as a hacker from this?
Also, now that they had access to his iCloud, the actors used the Find My iPhone tool to wipe his phone remotely at around 5:02 p.m. Then, to prevent him from taking back access, they wiped his iPad at 5:01 p.m. and his MacBook at 5:05 p.m. Now you might wonder, where was Matt the entire time his devices were getting hacked? He says he actually realized something was wrong at around 5 p.m. while playing with his daughter. Suddenly, his iPhone powered down. He didn't think too much of it and tried to plug it into a charger, but then it rebooted to the setup screen. He went to his MacBook to try to restore the iPhone's backup, but then a message came up saying his Gmail info was wrong, and the computer asked for a 4-digit PIN. Since he never had a PIN for his MacBook, he knew something was wrong instantly, which caused them to call Apple at around 5:10 p.m. Unfortunately, by this time, the hackers were already done, and 2 minutes later, at 5:12 p.m., they posted the damning tweet on his account. In an interesting turn of events, one of the hackers, Phobia, reached out to Matt and explained how they had done the whole thing. And what was their end goal?
Oh my god, so the hacker even went like, messaged him out, he's like, yeah, we did it, yeah, we did it. We did the whole thing. In fact, I'll explain to you in detail how we did the whole thing, how we fucked you this entire time. It's actually really good. You're actually gonna love it. It's very detail oriented. We're very detailed, and we went step. I'll show you. I'll send you step by step. I don't want to leave nothing out for you. I want you to get the full picture.
It was Matt's Twitter handle. You guys know the craze for 3-letter usernames, right? 4-letter usernames. So basically they wanted to hack into his account and flip it and sell it for more money. Some Twitter and Instagram usernames actually sell for upwards of $50,000. Anyway, Phobia and his accomplices took about an hour to ruin his social life and turn it upside down. It just really is interesting how these hackers took about an hour to wipe his devices clean just to get a 3-letter username. Gary Berman. Gary Berman's story is pretty insane because it shows how much damage a really competent hacker can cause to a small company. While doing a podcast interview for Cybersecurity Dispatch, Berman narrated how he ended up closing down his company because he got hacked and clients were being stolen and redirected as he watched. This happened around 2003 when most people weren't aware of the online world, let alone having the skills to navigate it properly. Berman ran a small telecommunications company.
All you need is the one bad person who has access to the internet in 2003, and that person give it a fucking rough shot because no one knows how to deal with it like they do today. Even today, most people don't know how to deal with it.
That had clients like AT&T, Coca-Cola, and Procter & Gamble. He was doing well and even sold a 49% stake in this company to WPP Group, a really large globally acclaimed communications firm. Now, the problem started when he stepped away from the firm for about 6 months due to a knee injury. During this time, sales began to decline, and he thought it was because he was away. But he just didn't know that he had been hacked, both digitally and operation-wise. Turns out that 2 insiders were working with a brilliant programmer to steal clients and tarnish the firm's reputation. The programmer had cloned the entire company's website and created a server that acted as a middleman in all the communications going in and out of the company. Any phone call that would come in, for instance, would get redirected to their clone company. Also, physically in the office, the insiders were working on projects under Berman's name without him even knowing.
So there were people inside his own business hacking him, helping the hacker to take down him. Wow.
it. Anyway, one of the bizarre moments he recalls is when a client called about a PowerPoint presentation of capabilities that Berman had apparently sent her. She said, "Isn't this from your company?" And as he looked over, he realized his juniors were trading deals in secret. Also, the sabotage included a scenario where the hacker sent a PowerPoint presentation pitching for work and signed off with an expletive. Instead of ending with, quote, "thank you," the hackers changed it to Berman ended up losing the $400,000 contract he was trying to pitch for. This meddling was also possible as his home computer had been hacked via the internet-connected printer, and the hackers were freely messing with his files. They also did other annoying things like changing his Facebook profile picture and altering texts that his daughter was sending to him. Of course, he noticed these changes, but no one at home believed him, not even his wife. He said, "My wife and brother thought I had lost my mind. They scheduled an appointment with a psychiatrist for me." He, however, gathered enough evidence and called a professional cybersecurity firm, and only then did he discover that not only was his computer hacked, but his phone and email addresses were compromised too. The firm installed a firewall, fixed his passwords, and got his control back. At his company, he called in a forensic firm that helped gather evidence that an attorney would use to sue the employees involved. However, he never pursued the case, and says that that decision was a $1 million mistake. Apparently, after meeting with his wife, the attorney, and the culprits, he decided to drop the case. Together with his wife, considering their daughter had special needs, they felt they didn't want
I wouldn't say so. The moment I find out who did, I'll be, no, fucking screw letting it go. I'm going right at it. Because they can easily come back. Screw that, I'm going right at their asses. I am getting their asses. I am taking them down. Don't try to. You will never be able to convince me to not go after them.
to put bad karma into the world. He also tried to keep the company going, but the dent in the reputation had taken things down a dark path. He ended up depleting his personal savings and eventually closing down the firm. It seems the hacking did in fact ruin his life at that point. The upside is that he began a very successful career in cybersecurity. Rick Thomas. Have you ever heard of Ashley Madison? Well, hold on tight, because in this story, you'll learn how this very popular dating and social networking site got hacked and screwed up the lives of many married men. As I already mentioned, Ashley Madison is a dating and social networking site. It's based in Canada, but available in many markets, including the US. And no, it's not like Tinder, it's worse. For example, the first thing you'll notice on their website is the brand tagline, "Life is short, have an affair." They literally offer an opportunity for people to cheat on their partners discreetly, and while at it, they have very convincing descriptions of their service. For example, the statement, "Did you know infidelity is emotional while adultery is physical?" And "Meeting someone at work or friends is too risky when discretion is your #1 concern, and the old taboos are frowned upon." All these are right on their homepage. Now that you know what the company's about, let's move on to the hack. Back in August of 2015, Ashley Madison got breached, and the hackers put out personal information of about 32 million people that had signed up for the service. These details included names, emails, and physical addresses. This data was contained in a
Oh my god, I know of this because there was someone on here. I'm pretty sure I remember correctly, there were some people on here that people actually knew that were like on this fucking thing.
9.7 gigabyte sized file that was posted on the dark web using an Onion address accessible via Tor browser. Worse still, the data also contained the login details of all the site users. Also, the hackers got hold of millions of credit card transactions done on the site going as far back as 2008. And there's even more. The data had descriptions of what members were seeking from the site. For example, "I'm looking for someone who isn't happy at home or just bored looking for some excitement." Now, with all this data being leaked, you can probably imagine the havoc that it caused, especially with the partners of those people. And one such
I mean, in fairness, the people on whose name got exposed, you were having an affair. I'm just saying, like you can't have too much sympathy for them because you were having an affair. So in the end of the day, you kind of. No matter, you were playing a game you didn't want to play. That's all I'm saying.
man is Rick Thomas, a married man that joined the site at age 56. Having been married for 19 years, He said that after he turned 56, he simply got a bad case of hives. He said, call it a midlife crisis, poor judgment, or a cheater's heart. Whatever it was, I easily found fault in my marriage. Intimacy was long gone. Simply put, his life was boring and he was looking for excitement. He saw an online ad and signed up for Ashley Madison. Then, just a couple of weeks later, he saw news about the hack. Soon after, he started getting emails from a hacker named Mr. X, who was demanding $1,000 in Bitcoin payment, or he would expose Rick to his family and friends. Rick refused to pay the money and instead thought it was easier to come clean with his wife. He did so, and while trying to convince his wife that he loved her, she walked right out the front door. Though she didn't leave him for good. Rather, she turned up in the morning and advised him to seek the services of a marriage counselor. It's anyone's guess where she went that night, and it seems that their marriage did survive, but with a crazy big scar.
I mean, what thing she came over to you like you're in the marriage counselor? What the thing? Cause yeah, you wouldn't trust him at all after that. You'd be like, no. Could he be like, oh, I was just the thing? Did he actually cheat? It doesn't even matter what he says. You're not gonna believe him. So, yeah, he is in a he put himself in a terrible position.
Given that 86% of the members on the website were men, obviously not everyone got back together with their wife. I don't even know why she got back together with him. I guess the 19 years being together, whatever. But I think it's a safe bet to say that those hackers ruined a bunch of marriages. Though it wasn't really the hackers, it was the men themselves. But you could say the hackers did a really good thing here. Yeah, that's...
I was the hackers in that case somewhat did the partners a good deed. Exposed a bunch of freaking people having affairs.
Just really a really interesting story on the list. Let's move on to the next one. Dr. Craig Wright. This next hack takes us into the heart of cryptocurrency. This is one of those cases where a hack has a chain.
Cryptocurrency, the one thing I will never understand to this day. Will never get involved in it. Will never understand it. It's just something I don't get it. I don't get it. It's a walking, talking scam. I don't know how anyone doesn't see it as anything else but that.
Reaction that causes havoc in other people's lives. In this case, the lives of several crypto developers. First, let's go over the hack. On Saturday, February 8th, 2020, Dr. Craig Wright, a very well-known figure in the crypto world, saw 3 transactions transferring Bitcoin out of a wallet. 2 of these transactions were substantial. This was alarming because first, he stored his private wallet keys in his home computer in Surrey, England, and second, his computer had confidential information relating to 2 other digital wallets containing roughly $4 billion. These other 2 digital assets are a pretty important part of this story, so let's briefly cover them. What are they? Well, they are 2 Bitcoin addresses, one FeeX and 12IB7. They were held under Dr. Wright's company, Tulip Trading, and contained about 111,000 Bitcoin, worth approximately $4 billion as of 2020.
Woo! Woo! That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's too much money. That you asking for someone to take that from you when you have that amount and you just sitting around with it.
2021. While the origin of these many coins is a debated issue, Dr. Wright insists he bought them as an investment as far back as 2011. Now, having these valuable assets in one's possession, it's very easy to understand why Dr. Wright kept access to them stored locally on his computer. This is a smart move in the crypto space because it's almost impossible to hack an offline computer in your home. In this case, he stored the keys in encrypted files, which were inside a password-protected RAR file. He even used something called algorithmic masking as an added layer of protection. Still, hackers got into it and took off with the RAR file, 37 gigabytes of other files, about 50 white papers, 1.1 million pounds of Bitcoin SV, and 0.333 Bitcoin. Now, if you understand how crypto works, then you know that if someone steals something like a flash drive and it has your wallet key, then you're fucked because you lose access to whatever was in your wallet. This is why Dr. Wright's hack was really bad, because when the RAR file was stolen, he lost access to the 1FeeX and 12IB7 addresses and hence his $4 billion. Immediately after the hack, he notified the police. While there's no definitive answer as to how the hackers...
I can definitely tell you you'll never find my name attached to any damn crypto thing. I don't know if there's any person who could get involved in crypto that could convince me to do it. I don't think there's a single person. I ain't gonna touch it. too damn sketchy. Everything goes wrong with it. I'm not touching it.
got in. Dr. Wright believes they did so via a wireless router that was mysteriously planted in his home. He said, "I believe it must have been planted there by the hackers, either when tradesmen were in our home or by breaking in." Now, you may be tempted to think that Dr. Wright's life was ruined by the hackers, but you would be wrong. Losing 111,000 Bitcoin is nothing to a man who owns about 1.1 million Bitcoin in total. The people whose lives got rocked are the developers of popular crypto platforms. As I said in the beginning, it's a destructive chain reaction. Why? Well, when Dr. Wright lost his assets, he began legal action against the developers of these wallets to make them recover his stolen axes. On May of 2021, the High Court of London approved his case against the developers behind Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV, and Bitcoin Cash ABC. A funny fact here is that he included BSV in the lawsuit, despite it being a company that he started back in 2017. Anyway, the case was dismissed on March 2022, but Dr. Wright appealed the decision, and the Court of Appeal granted him his wish, getting the case on track to a trial that will be held in early 2024. In his lawsuit, he's demanding that these developers create a backdoor to the Bitcoin Core blockchain to reimburse him for his stolen coins and return access to the wallets. While this is impossible from a technical point of view, the bigger problem the developers are facing is that if the court rules in Dr. Wright's favor, they'll be forced to have a fiduciary duty to their users going forward. This simply means that a crypto software developer could be held.
Well, I don't know who has the duty there, because if he has the... It's his thing that got hacked. He had the money. So technically, it's his duty. But he's kind of pushing and saying, no, it's everyone else's duty. And everyone else, all these other developers' duties. I don't think that's how that works, so I don't know how this is going to go here.
Held liable for damages experienced by someone else who used their product in a different country other than the US. This liability would arise from the fact that the developer contributed to an open source project. The lawyer defending these developers, Jessica Jones of Bitcoin Legal Defense Fund, said they are volunteering their time to work on public infrastructure. They're doing it for free. They're adding it under MIT license, which is supposed to protect them from things like this. As it stands, all involved parties are waiting for trial. But what do you think based on the facts? Is Dr. Wright ruining the lives of open source developers in the crypto world? Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the video.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this reaction video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all for the next one.